our top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts Bringing Value Home. Playground at Providence Phase 3 transferred for private use. Calls continue to mount to appoint a leader of the opposition. Presidential inspections purely PR. David Patterson. Do the crime, do the time. I never encouraged my son to steal. Mother of teen involved in daylight robbery. And in sport, Guyana Football Federation and the University of Guyana signs Youth Development M.O.U. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Thursday, 15th January 2026 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We'll tell you this evening that yet another questionable transaction has been raised by leader of the We Invest in Nationhood Win Party, Azruddin Mohammed. Travis Chase has more.
Mohammed is calling for clear answers and accountability over what he alleges is the diversion of state land earmarked for public use at Providence Phase 3, where a designated playground has been converted into a commercial showroom and parking facility.
This land was intended to serve the residents of the area as a space for recreation, sports, and community activities, especially for our young people. Instead, it is now being used as a showroom and parking lot for jumbo jets.
Mohammed argues that the development at Providence Phase 3 contradicts repeated public commitments by President Irfan Ali and Vice President Bar Jagdeo on the importance of playgrounds and recreational facilities.
Yet, once again, their words do not match their actions. Lands earmarked for public use are quietly diverted to private interests with kickbacks.
The Win leader further alleges that a former housing minister was aware of the transaction and failed to intervene, adding that similar issues date back to periods when oversight responsibilities rested with senior officials now in government.
Rather than stopping them or condemning them, she facilitated and fueled the abuse of the system.
He maintains that politically connected entities appear to benefit while communities lose access to essential shared spaces.
The reason such conduct was allowed is no secret. The owner of Jumbo Jet is a close associate of President Irfan. When friendship and political connections trump public interests, communities lose and corruption thrives.
Mohammed has also linked the Providence Phase 3 matter to a previous December 16, 2025 disclosure involving Peters Hall, where lands reportedly reserved for public facilities, including a police outpost, playground, daycare, and health center, were later sold for private apartment development. He is urging transparency and a full accounting of how public lands are allocated, insisting that citizens deserve clear explanations and safeguards to ensure areas set aside for community use are protected and preserved. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
The government of the day appears to act as if it is business as usual, with the country being without an elected leader of the opposition 3 months after the swearing in of government ministers and parliamentarians. A member of the We Invest in Nationhood party says government must submit to checks and balances. Antonia Day reports.
Guyana's constitution paves the way for the election of the leader of the opposition in a timely manner. This law requires the Speaker of the National Assembly to convene a meeting of opposition members of Parliament to elect an opposition leader, according to Article 1841 of the Constitution, which says, the leader of the opposition shall be elected by and from among the non-governmental members of the National Assembly, meeting held under the chairmanship of the Speaker of the National Assembly, who shall not have the right to vote. End of quote. But apparently, President Irfan Ali believes that this power lies with him. This was the head of state when questioned on the subject recently by media operatives.
I don't know if the opposition leader will be a he or she. You're assuming that the opposition leader will be a he. I think that's a very big assumption. There might be a view that the opposition leader might be a he, but I can't say, I can't predict what will happen.
However, The Win Party secured a majority of seats on the opposition side of the House, with Azruddin Mohammed leading that party. One can therefore imagine who the elected opposition leader will be. Meanwhile, Tabitha Sarbo-Halley, Win's Member of Parliament, in adding her voice to the conversation, said in a true democracy, power is not bestowed on one person or group.
Government has power to govern, we know that, but the opposition has a duty to scrutinize. Parliament must oversee the executive.
The Win Member of Parliament stressed the importance of an elected opposition leader.
Policies are better thought through, public money is better spent, and ordinary citizens have a voice, even when they don't agree with the government of the day. When checks and balances fail, that is when the gaps appear.
Members from the diplomatic community have expressed concerns regarding the non-appointment of an opposition leader. They noted that this is a critical component for any democratic nation. United States Ambassador Nico Therio recently commented on the subject.
It's incredibly important that you have a functioning parliament in any democracy. And in order to have that, you do need a leader of the opposition.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
A wave of presidential inspections across key infrastructure projects has sparked debate over leadership style, oversight, and optics. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Over the past few days, President Irfan Ali has been conducting on-site inspections of several ongoing infrastructure projects across the country, including the 4-lane highway from Busby Dam to Land of Canaan along the east bank of Demerara corridor. However, former Minister of Public Works David Patterson, speaking during a telephone interview with this newscast, said while there is nothing inherently wrong with the head of state visiting project sites, he believes the president's level of involvement amongst the micromanagement.
It's purely PR. His involvement is purely for PR purposes. It's not improved a single thing. His involvement is meant to detract from the rate of progress in actuality.
Patterson further noted that several major projects remain behind schedule, stressing that increased presidential involvement has not translated into improved timelines or project delivery.
You look at Guy Suko, every 2 mornings he gets up and says heads of the roll, no heads of the roll, and they still remain a backward industry, same as GPL.
On Tuesday, the president conducted an on-site inspection of works at the Busby Dam, East Bank, Demerara, where he underscored the scale of engineering and planning underway to support Guyana's rapid urban expansion and improve national connectivity. He explained that the 4-lane highway will link the Mandela Echoes corridor, the Heroes Highway, and the Future Hogul Highway through a large roundabout at Busby Dam, effectively creating a third 4-lane highway along the East Bank. Lot 1 of the project is approximately 33% complete, while Lot 7 stands at 57% completion. The overall development is divided into 8 lots. The highway will feature mediums enhanced safety measures, margin sealing, and pull-off lanes, and will extend toward Land of Canaan. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
A Partnership for National Unity's Member of Parliament Viceroy Jordan has dismissed President Irfan Ali's recent warnings that there will be changes at Gaisuco if the 2026 production target is not met. Jordan, however, says similar threats were made in 2024 and 2025. Marvin Cato reports.
You could have foreseen it from long before. And the president basically is continuing to spew his political rhetoric, nothing serious.
That was Member of Parliament Viceroy Jordan, who is of the view that Gaisuco's failure could have been predicted since there is continued inefficiencies and no meaningful accountability followed within the cooperation. President Irfan Ali is again threatening termination of managerial staff, with the MP reminding that we have heard that proverbial song before, heads never rolled in the past, and he doubts it will roll in the future.
The management of Gaisuco is not being held accountable in any way that they will want to move to ensure that targets are being made.
According to the MP, Public funds have been injected into the industry while problems such as weak field management, factory inefficiencies, labor shortages, and poor leadership persist. He said repeated revisions of production targets, followed by further failures to meet them, reflected deeper policy and oversight failure rather than unforeseen circumstances. Sugar workers and taxpayers have borne the cost of what he described as a refusal to reform a clearly failing model.
The government is to be blamed, because the government continues to pump billions of dollars into Gaisuku when they know for sure that Gaisuku cannot produce 1 pound of sugar at profitability.
Jordan is of the view that leadership must be judged by results, not repeated threats of future action. And when the time arrives for the president to act, there is only political rhetoric, followed by warnings when targets are not met. Jordan concluded that Guyanese deserve honesty, transparency, and decisive leadership rather than what he described as recycled promises that deflect responsibility without delivering results. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned, we have more news for you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't take any more of your gaslighting. Just go. I got burned too many times. I went to Quartz and found myself a new flame.
Say goodbye to your old appliances and hello to new ones from Quartz, bringing Christmas home.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting's and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing January 5, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE. GCOM will be posting the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you will be 18 years or older by December 31, 2025, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. If you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not on the PLE, apply for a transfer if you've changed your address since you were registered, apply for a name change if you have changed your name, or apply for a correction if your registration particulars are incorrect. Any person applying for a change or correction to his or her particulars must provide the required original source documents, birth certificate and deed poll for a name change by deed poll, birth certificate and marriage certificate for a name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who is desirous of reverting to her maiden name from her married name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, or naturalization certificate for correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Sunday, January 18, 2026. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Thanks for staying with us. You're with the HGP Nightly News. Former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan says lack of proper planning by the incumbent People's Progressive Party civic government is hurting, not helping the country. The Economist believes if the government does not change its approach, the country could face serious challenges in the future. Marvin Cato is on that story.
You can't get from the government, with all this money that's available to them, a scenario that you will know where Guyana will be, say in the transportation sector, 5 years from now.
That was former Finance Minister Winston Jordan on the podcast Context, putting into perspective the burning issue of lack of planning by the current administration. As
the president goes to open something, because it seems as if there's nobody else, he goes to open from a foul coup to whatever, is given another disclosure of something to come. We don't know it. That's not planning.
Jordan said government's approach to spending, particularly on projects, depicts tremendous lack of planning and waste of resources. He went on further to lament the fact that the government may not appreciate the British vlogger who highlighted the many shortcomings in the construction sector.
That is an absurd use of resources, fortunate resources that have come to you.
He reminded that in terms of maintenance, having all these projects being completed simultaneously poses another challenge. The former minister is adamant that the government's track record on maintenance leaves much to be desired. He reminded that governments don't like to look at maintenance, they like to cut ribbons. Their focus is on the sexy projects that will possibly get them re-elected, and that is not what the country needs now that we have been blessed with this oil windfall. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, argues that poor governance and the absence of data-driven decision-making processes have left Guyana without a proper immigration policy. He warned that without accurate data, transparency, and coordination with law enforcement, the country cannot effectively manage migration or protect its national interests. Antonio Day has that story.
It is clear that this government is not a data-driven government. It is a government that is driven by economic opportunities, by transactional benefits.
That was leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, speaking to the issue of Guyana's poor immigration policy. Norton from the onset said the government has not been engaging the opposition on matters relating to national security and demographic shifts. He warned that unchecked migration could eventually make Guyanese citizens a minority in their own country. Many political pundits argue this is already happening.
Guyana needs an immigration policy badly. You are bordered by countries that have problems. And even in countries that do not have problems, there's the tendency to migrate.
Meanwhile, the recently released 2022 preliminary census data shows that 96.93% of residents are Guyanese, while the foreign-born population accounts for 3.07%. This represents a marked increase from 2012, when foreign-born residents made up just 1.10% of the population. Minister with responsibility for finance in the Office of the President, Dr. Ashni Singh, noted that much of the foreign-born population comprises of individuals from neighboring countries, including investors and students, as well as migrants. He explained that cross-border migration has become a growing reality for Guyana, particularly in the recent years. Norton, however, believes that there must be mechanisms in place to conduct comprehensive background checks on those who come here. He said that these mechanisms must ensure individuals do not pose a threat to the country or known for criminal activities.
To have it linked to law enforcement, so when there is the violation of law, the matter can be dealt with.
Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The mother of the teenage boy shot during an attempted robbery at Brickdam says he must face the consequences of his actions. Travis Chase spoke with the mother and he reports now.
The mother of the teenage boy shot during an attempted robbery at Brickdam says she never encouraged her son to steal or engage in criminal activity and believes he must face the consequences of his actions, even as she calls for stronger systems to prevent young people from being drawn into crime. Speaking after the incident, the woman said her son's involvement in the alleged robbery does not reflect the values she tried to instill, stressing that accountability is necessary when laws are broken. Why is it being peddled that your household encouraged your son to live a life of crime?
Well, I, his mother, and I don't encourage it with my son. If it's so be the case, he's only 13 years old, right? And I spoke to him many times, and if it's so be the case, you have to face the consequence.
At the same time, she argued that more structured interventions, guidance, programs, and social support are urgently needed for vulnerable teenagers who may be easily influenced or led astray.
Is it that you tried the system and it didn't work?
Yes, I did try the system and didn't work. I go welfare all. The saying now he's 13, he underage, they can't do nothing. You have to wait. If you was 14, there's right at on coffee there on breakdown. They say if he was 14, then they could do something. They said it's the law.
Her comments follow a police investigation into the alleged attempted robbery, underarms, and shooting that occurred around 10:15 a.m. on Wednesday along Brick Dam near the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. Police say an 81-year-old pensioner and his 79-year-old brother were approached by two males while on official business when one suspect, armed with a knife and riding a bicycle, attempted to snatch a haversack from the elderly man. The victim raised an alarm, prompting members of the public to intervene. During the confrontation, a 25-year-old licensed firearm holder discharged his weapon in the direction of the suspects, striking one of them, a 13-year-old boy from All Boys Town, while the second suspect escaped.
I know if it was a police don't shoot like that. They don't shoot. If they do shooting, they shoot in here. So I need some sort of justice.
The injured teen was transported by emergency medical technicians to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, where he remains under medical care with a gunshot wound. Police have since secured the firearm involved and are reviewing CCTV footage from the area as investigations continue. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Thanks, Travis. Join us after the break. We have more news for you.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
No frills, just great prices at Courts. We don't just talk about it, we got it. Get the best in quality and prices on appliances, electronics, furniture, and much more. Get free gifts with select laptop and TV purchases. Shop today, pay later with Courts Ready Finance. Only at Courts, bringing value home. Offer ends January 24th, 2026. Conditions apply.
Welcome back. You're with the HGP Nightly News as we continue. Millions of dollars in household appliances, including mattresses, chairs, and furniture, were destroyed after a storage bond linked to the 104 furniture store went up in flames Thursday afternoon. Tiana was there and filed this report.
A fire on Thursday afternoon at approximately 1300 hours completely destroyed a two-story storage bond belonging to the owner of the 401 furniture store. The blaze occurred at Lot 40 South Monrepo, East Bank, Demerara, with losses estimated to be in the millions. When this newscast arrived on the scene, several police officers were present, along with two fire tenders actively battling the flames, as neighbors and onlookers gathered nearby. Although firefighters worked tirelessly to extinguish the blaze, the fire ultimately consumed the building. However, their efforts were successful in preventing the flames from spreading to nearby homes. The owner of the business, Nazim Khan, told the media that earlier in the day, workers had visited the barn to clean the premises following holidays period. According to information he received, the workers encountered bees around the storage bond, and it is possible that an attempt was made to smoke them out.
They didn't have that. Remember, these people were doing that. They doesn't know about that. So they think that they're going to smoke the bee out, and when they realize, and the place has got foam and
We're
lots
still
of stuff.
waiting on the official report from the fire service.
Right.
We don't know exactly what is.
I can't blame the guys there for that, honestly. All right? Because not them fault.
Khan's daughter, Saudia Khan, said the bond has been in operation since 2019, and earlier on Thursday, workers were hired to clear the front area of the building. She added that while clearing the land, workers noticed a beehive and attempted to remove the bees.
I guess a nest or something of the sort, and I don't know what is it they tried to do. Whatever information is being related to us is what we're relating back to you guys. We don't really have factual information of what exactly transpired. They light the fire, they try to smoke it out. They didn't relate any information to us that is something that they were going to do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the series of
They
events
do it on their own.
Investigations into the cause of the fire are ongoing, and this newscast will provide updates once the Guyana Fire Service and police release their official reports. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Fruitopia, Fruitopia, it's a drink that's hype. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Guava, pineapple, that give me a vibe. We no want nothing less compared to the rest. Fruitopia the best. Quench any thirst when it comes to the test. Perfect thing for my lunch. Flavors pack a punch. Fruitopia, Fruitopia, it's a drink that's hype. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Fruitopia, the drink that rocks your lunchtime.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing January 5, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE. If you will be 18 years or older by December 31, 2025, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM will be posting the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Sunday, January 18, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Good evening and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. I am Antonio D. We begin with news in Trinidad and Tobago. As the state of emergency comes to an end in the coming weeks, the government's next move will be target hotspots. Attorney General John Jeremy revealed the government's plan to implement zones of special operations, known as ZOZO, which by law will empower law enforcement when it comes to combating crime in hotspot areas. A similar legal framework exists in Jamaica. During a media briefing at the headquarters of the United National Congress in Chaguanas on Wednesday, Jeremy said that the first state of emergency was declared to respond to the existential threat to the state. He added that it will address attempts of disrupting the lines of communication which existed between incarcerated gang leaders and their partners outside the prison system. This time around, he explained that the bill is aimed at targeting the present risk that exists. Still with news in Trinidad and Tobago. Over the past few years, there has been a great deal of discourse in Trinidad and Tobago about the opportunities to import natural gas from Venezuela to Trinidad for processing into petrochemicals or LNG and re-exporting the final products to international markets. This continues to be a major area of interest, and especially with the Dragon gas field. While the current focus is on gas, there was a time in the past when Trinidad and Tobago imported substantial volumes of crude oil from Venezuela, primarily as feedback for the now mothballed Point-a-Pierre refinery. In the year 2000, Trinidad and Tobago imported over 18 million barrels of crude from Venezuela, which at the time represented over half of Trinidad and Tobago's imported crude. This is equivalent to just over 50,000 barrels per day, roughly equal to the current domestic production of the Twin Island Republic. And finally, with international news. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration is suspending processing for immigrant visas for applicants from 75 countries, a State Department spokesperson said on Wednesday, as part of Washington's intensifying immigration crackdown. This pause, which will impact applicants from Latin American countries including Brazil, Colombia, Uruguay, Balkan countries such as Bosnia and Albania, South Asian countries such as Pakistan and Bangladesh, and those from many nations in Africa, the Middle East, and the Caribbean will begin on January 21st, the spokesperson said. That has brought us to the end of Thursday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio Day. Do have a productive evening. Goodbye.
Let's now join Delwyn Neblet for HGP's Sports Pulse.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwyn Neblet with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Thursday, January 15, 2026. We begin tonight with cricket. Colin Bino Jr., a licensed Guyanese cricket agent, recently donated full cricket kits to 313 players from Berbice, Essequibo, and Demerara. The Guyana Cricket Board assisted with player selection, ensuring one recipient from each county. The young cricketers received complete gear through support from GA Sports of India. The initiative was created to ease financial pressure on parents and is intended to become an annual effort. The players, Adrian Emmanuel, DeMarcus Thomas, Hezekiah Owenkirk, and their parents welcomed the support and expressed their gratitude. Moving into football, the University of Guyana and the Guyana Football Federation recently signed a memorandum of understanding largely focused on youth development in football. The agreement connects higher education with growing sport industry, offering career paths beyond playing. The initiative also supports the preparation of students for roles in management, media, and operations. One immediate outcome will be the placement of 4 University of Guyana students as interns at the Guyana Football Federation in 2026. Into horse racing, the Slingers Horse Racing Stable opened their 2026 season with a major victory in the Grand Prix City Hall of Rio de Janeiro at the Gavia Hippodrome on Monday. Competing with 2 horses in the 1900-meter race, the Guyanese-owned stable secured 1st and 4th place finishes. Leante Supremo secured the win, while Olympic Nacional delivered a strong 4th place finish against intense international competition. Moving into basketball, the National Gymnasium's outdoor basketball court will be temporarily closed to facilitate upgrades. According to the Director of Sports, Steve Ninval, the rehabilitative works align with the National Sports Commission's responsibility to maintain quality facilities. Users have been advised to take note of the period of closure and are encouraged that the improvements are expected to deliver a better playing experience upon the court's reopening. And finally, in basketball, the first ever Schools Basketball League is set to begin on Friday, January 16, with 3 fixtures at multiple venues in Georgetown. Commencing at 16 hours, Queens College will take on St. Stanislaus College at the QC Court, while St. Rose's High takes on President's College at St. Rose's. The final match on Friday, commencing at 16 hours 30, will feature the Government Technical Institute versus Marian Academy at the Marian Academy Court. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Neblet, reminding you to stay in the game.
Playground at Providence Phase 3 transferred for private use. Calls continue to mount to appoint a leader of the opposition. Presidential inspections purely PR. David Patterson. Do the crime? Do the time. I never encouraged my son to steal. Mother of teen involved in daylight robbery. And in sport, Guyana Football Federation and the University of Guyana signs Youth Development MOU. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.